Woo! Jeez. Hello and welcome to Nostalgia Goggles. I'm sorry, I have been gone for a little bit of time. I mean, it felt like forever. I mean, this is probably how Nostalgia Goggles goes. 2 episodes come out 1 month, and then they just stop. Well, this time I have a valid excuse. I was on Mars fighting demons. It was very interesting, but that's a different story. I'm here to review a video game. Actually, I'm here to review one of my favorite video game series, but I'm not reviewing the actual series. I'm reviewing a game from the series. But let me start with the intro of this game. Have you ever had a video game that you guys liked a lot that was first in the arcade and then came to home consoles? Now I know, this question is kind of obsolete for the people that have just been born quite recently and have no clue what an arcade is. I only know what an arcade is because, well, one, I was born in 95, so therefore I should know what an arcade is. There's been arcades like crazy. There's Dave & Buster's, the one that's near in my mall, and there's a whole bunch of arcades out there, but a lot of people don't realize that they exist, or there's no new games. So, going back to my question, have you ever had a video game that was one of your favorites, that you seen in the arcade, and then you played, then it came to the home consoles? For people that understand what the question is, they might give a yes, and they might give a no. Some might say, oh yeah, Daytona USA was cool. Or Virtua Cop. Or House of the Dead. Or Gauntlet. I believe that was an arcade game. I don't know. Maybe. I didn't do my research on this question. And a lot of people would say a lot of games. My favorite game, though, besides Daytona USA, Gauntlet, whatever it was. Time Trigger or something? I don't remember what it was. It was some arcade light gun game. But besides that, my favorite one was Donkey Kong. I honestly didn't play in an arcade cabinet until I was older and I met a friend that had one. But I did play it for an Atari, and it was dreadful. But I did also play a game, Donkey Kong Classics, which was one of my favorite video games. And to me, Donkey Kong is one of those games that's just really fun to play. I like and it's pretty cool to see the game grow from Donkey Kong to Donkey Kong Jr. to Donkey Kong 3 to even Donkey Kong Country to Donkey Kong 64 to now where we're at, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That's where we're at now. I just dated myself in this video, but it doesn't matter. And each one of the Donkey Kong games, I think, in my opinion, were really fun games. Even though some of them were very, When I mean Donkey Kong, I'm talking about the direct Donkey Kong series. So in other words, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Classics through 3, and other Donkey Kong games. Mostly Country, and yes, I liked 64 as well. But there is one Donkey Kong game that a lot of people didn't like. And that is Donkey Kong 3 for the NES. This game, a lot of people, like I said, didn't like. And I never really understood why. So, let's pop this game in and see why people dislike it. And maybe, just maybe, I could be that one person that does like it. Just maybe. Donkey Kong 3 was a very different game compared to the other Donkey Kong games. For instance, Donkey Kong 3 isn't a platformer like Donkey Kong 1 and Donkey Kong Jr. It's a game that's kind of like Space Invaders. Kind of. It's like Space Invaders plus Galaga, kind of. That's how I could kind of put it, because that's what it looks like and that's how it kind of plays. Where you're supposed to be protecting flowers, and that's really, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect your flowers while you're in your greenhouse, and you're supposed to keep Donkey Kong from falling. And it may sound simple, but it's not, because the bugs are coming at you from everywhere, and in later levels, bugs directly shoot at you. You can't really shoot down, you can only shoot up, so it's kind of hard. You gotta keep your focus on them. You gotta keep from Donkey Kong falling, as I said before. So,
I quite like this game. I don't see why a lot of people had a big fuss about it not being a platformer. It was something new, and it's something that was just fun. Now, probably at the time, they probably were sick and tired of these kind of games, and you know what? I can't really blame them, especially if there was a whole bunch of these in the arcade. So...
So all in all, is Donkey Kong Jr. a bad game? Nah, not really. I quite enjoy it. It's a really fun game. It's actually very... Well, I was about to say it's like Donkey Kong, but it's not really like Donkey Kong. It is an arcade game, yeah, and it is different, and they did take a different approach at the game, and I quite like it, but I can see where some people don't. And at the same time, I can. So if you guys ever looking for an old classic Donkey Kong game to play besides the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., try Donkey Kong 3. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I gotta go beat Donkey Kong and get him out of my greenhouse.